Hello, and welcome back to Compassion for Companions. My name is Sean Ashley Kettling, and today I'll be talking about pet loss support groups. For the following content made on today's episode, I'd like to give credit to Laura Lagoni for her article on Protocols for Planning and Preparing Clients for the Death of a Pet. I would also like to give credit to Kathleen Dunn and her team for their article on Social Work with a Pet Loss Support Group in a University Hospital. In today's episode, I would like to emphasize the importance in providing support for people who are preparing for or experiencing pet loss. Pets are becoming increasingly incorporated into society around the world, and as animals inhabit strong roles as family members and as individuals form extremely unique bonds with their companions, pet loss may leave us feeling more alone and misunderstood than ever. The grief intensity of losing a companion animal has been comparable to the grief felt from losing a human companion. Therefore, many people who experienced or are preparing for pet loss will benefit from having guidance in their grieving process. In the study on a pet loss support group that was conducted in a university veterinary hospital, the program was established after many clients would come to the social work office within the hospital, often saying that the veterinary staff was amazing, although they still felt the need to talk about their recently diseased companion animal. It's important to discuss the origins of this pet loss support group because it highlights that although the veterinarian and staff can provide a great service, it will not always relieve the grief felt by the owners. Therefore, other steps should be taken to ease the grief felt by the clients, such as providing relevant resources, including pet loss support groups. The benefits that were found from pet loss support groups included the reduction in guilt, grief, and depression. The program also allows people to process the experience of losing their pet. In their meetings, individuals would discuss the emotional ties they develop with their companion animal. This included the pet's role in the owner's life, the development of their feelings for their companion, and also the humanization and integration into family structure. This is important because it allows an owner to discuss and focus on the positive moments they shared with their companion animal. The program also helps people process the experience of losing their companion animal by gaining a greater understanding of the loss, such as why and how it happened. More specifically, group discussions would include topics such as relative lifespans of small companions and implications of quality of life when ill. The benefits of gaining a greater understanding of one's loss was exemplified in the following statement made by a client in a pet loss support group. Quote, "My cat suddenly died in a hospital. I was shocked and very depressed. I went to the group and it took several sessions for my depression to lift. I realized that I did not understand how sick my cat really was, even though the veterinarian told me. My anger was abated in the group. It was very helpful to meet other people going through the same painful loss. I was very grateful to the group and the social worker for understanding me." End quote. It's important to note that support groups will not immediately relieve one's grief, but it will provide a helpful and accepting setting in guiding that grieving process without stigmatizing an owner's grief. Going back to the discussions on quality of life, these talks can be very beneficial for people who are considering or preparing for euthanasia. Pet loss support groups provide a safe place to gain a greater understanding of the euthanasia process, including its details as well as short-term and long-term implications. By hearing about other members' experiences with animal euthanasia, such as their pet's peaceful passing, it can provide a sense of relief that could ease some of the owner's guilt. Also, the group can have a discussion on the pros and cons from euthanizing someone's pet given the circumstances. Sometimes, understanding that their companion animal will continue to suffer or will require intense veterinary care for the remainder of its life will help owners understand that they are not the cause of their pet's death. Rather, they are preventing their companion's continued suffering. By providing a safe place to speak more about a pet owner's current situation and position on the euthanasia process, the owner can in turn make a more informed and conscious decision that will minimize potential future feelings of regrets and what-ifs. It was also found that directly involving a client in the conversation of euthanasia and allowing them to make the choices will diminish grief intensity as well. Not only does the program discuss individual experiences with their companion animals, but it also actively discusses the grieving process, such as what to expect and how they can cope with their grief and pain. This can be done by keeping yourself busy, setting aside time to be upset, and also engaging in self-care activities. Everyone has their own way of grieving, and sometimes confronting your grief in person can feel too overwhelming. There are online pet loss support groups available, and on petloss.com, support groups can message each other via 24/7 chat rooms. As expected in-person pet loss support groups, this chat room has guidelines and rules that ensures a safe place for having discussions on pet loss. On this website, there are other relevant resources, such as in-person pet loss support groups listed by state, and helpful books, articles, and poems. Another resource that does not require in-person confrontation of grief are pet loss support hotlines. Some of these hotline organizations include the ASPCA National Pet Loss Hotline, CARE, C-A-R-E, Helping for Companion Animal-Related Emotions, and the Michigan State University Grief Counseling provided by veterinary student volunteers, and many more. Overall, all of these resources can be listed and posted throughout the veterinary clinic or handed out directly to clients who are preparing for or experiencing pet loss. Whether the pet loss support groups are in person, online, or phone call, these organizations can help guide a healthy grieving process for clients, friends, and family members. Thank you for listening to my podcast episode, and have a good day.